Hello, welcome to Module C. We have now finished the first week and I am so excited. Yeah, I spent so much time this summer imagining how could I possibly do piano class with so little in-person time, and what will the new students be like, and I'm so impressed. So I'm really excited to be working with you this quarter, and I think it's going to be great. All right, so Module C. I'm expecting that you'll do this after you've had lesson 1 with me. You might do it before if you need to get ahead, but probably it'll be after the lesson 1. So it's all new material. Okay? You can see on the week 2 handout what we're doing. We're going to start with the finger strengthening exercise number 4 and try transposing it to some new places. So first off, just sort of a very quick review. Show me in C major. So of course, fall, carry, 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 up. Fall, carry, 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 up. Okay, and hands together. 1 and 2 and 3. All right, so now transposing to E major. Get your hand position set. Okay, I'm just going to play it right away with hands together. You can pause and do hands separate first if you would like to. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then A major. I'm going to go down. So 5 notes. Okay, be sure your shoulders are all the way down and your arms are loose, so we get that weight falling all the way down. Here we go. A major. 1, 2, 3. Okay, sorry I got distracted for a moment. I think the volume's too soft. That's probably better, okay? So, yeah, that's what you need. If that went fine, great. If not, just repeat it a couple more times. Now we're going to start on some more advanced studies. So these are called the daily studies. So first off, number 1. This is on the very next page, additional page 3, study number 1. Tolling C's. Okay. So as the instructions say, play with a smooth legato throughout. Play right hand alone, then left hand alone an octave lower. Begin by practicing it very slowly. Gradually increase the tempo to moderato, always maintaining a rounded hand position. Be sure to keep the tempo absolutely steady, especially at the meter changes. Okay? They're not hard meter changes, but there's enough of them that it keeps us paying attention. All right, so the way it works, regular C position, and it's about rocking back and forth. Just do the first bar. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so look at how much I'm moving my arm. And look at how much I'm moving my fingers. The answer is not at all. They are not moving. Yeah? They are totally in this position. The pinky's extended here. It's just that I'm rocking my arm back and forth. Okay? This is the most efficient use of your motion and the best use of your energy. So, let's try it. Obviously, the notes change from one bar to the next, but it's always that the C is every offbeat. Yeah, so that's why tolling C's. All right, so I just want to play the first 4 bars with you. 1, 2, 3, and... Okay, so how does the rocking back and forth feel? You should also be doing it whether you're engaging the 3rd finger, the 4th finger, or the pinky. Doesn't matter which one, still the same kind of motion. All right, really take me very literally. Don't press the fingers up and down at all to do this one. Let's do the second system. So this is in 3/4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, easy enough. Now the next system, we get 2/4, and then you have to read after that. When it says 4/4, it goes even quicker. So I'll play all the 3rd system. 1, 2. Okay, so I like to think of the whole piece as it's doing the same thing, first in 4s, then in 3s, then in 2s, then in 1s. Yeah, so there, towards the very last 2 bars go 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, no repetition, just 1 time through each pair. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play the whole thing at a slower tempo. I probably started too fast. Sorry about that. I should have been slower as an introduction. So, yeah, that's what we'll do. So I'm going to play all the way through. Either pause, do it on your own a little bit first, or go ahead and just play with me now. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, how'd you do? Did you get lost at all? People usually get lost once or twice as they're starting this one because of the meter changes. You'll have it memorized pretty soon. Okay, so left hand, same deal. Obviously the C's are not with your thumb. Now the C's are all with your pinky, but same thing. You're really working on keeping that rounded hand position just right, totally consistent, and rocking back and forth in this way. So you can think of it as you fall into the first note, but after that, it's really rocking. It's not falling every downbeat or anything. It's just kind of rocking back and forth. That's how you use all of this weight continually. Okay, here we go. Left hand. I'm going to play all the way through. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, just at the end we have the repeated notes so that you do feel like you're fall, fall, fall. Okay, so keep playing this one. You're not done yet. Speed it up a little bit. I would say keep it hands separately right now. There's really no need to do hands together. So keep it hands separately, speed up the tempo a little bit, do it a few more times, and then resume after that. All right, I'm going to go on now to study number 2, the finger pair workout. All right, so again, the instructions. Playing straight through this study will tire you out if you only use finger motion, so be sure to use arm weight. Give an impulse on each downbeat, which carries you through the next measure, or even 2 full measures. Play right hand alone, then left hand alone. an octave lower. Pause as needed while you're learning it, then progress until you can play the entire piece in tempo. One other notational thing, the first bar, whole bunch of eighth notes, whole bunch of eighth notes, whole bunch of eighth notes. It says slurs sim, so like we talked about last week, S-I-M is short for simile. That means keep doing that thing, whatever it may be. And then there's a funny symbol. It really looks like the percent sign. The symbol means to repeat the previous bar. Generally in jazz and popular music you see this a lot, in classical music much less. So you might or might not have seen this before. But it means do that entire bar again. And just glancing at the thing you can see, oh yeah, every bar happens twice, except for the very last bar only happens once. Okay, so like it says, give an impulse on each downbeat. So let me see your forearm up here one more time. So this starts with the right hand, finger 4 on F. It looks like, oh shoot, it looks like there's no fingering on this. Maybe it is on the copy you're looking at, but it should be finger 4. So go ahead and write the number 4 above that, and then write the number 2 below that, because fingering above means right hand, like 4, and fingering below the note means left hand, in this case 2. Okay, so let me see your forearm. You're going to drop with right hand finger 4, okay? Boom, we know how to do that. But now you have to go F, G, F, G. Okay, so the same kind of feeling like we were just doing with tolling Cs. F, G, F, G. And then the G gets repeated. Okay, so you have to lift it. F, G, F, lift, and then down again. G, F, G, F. But there's not time to go F, G, F, G, G, F, G, F, F, G. Right? That would slow us down like crazy. So instead, F, G, F, G, G, F, G, F. All right? Now, F, G, F, G, G, F, E, F. As much as possible, this whole rocking back and forth. Don't do this at all. Ow, it hurts me to even think about it. Okay? Totally don't do that. Yeah, no good. No good. You can play so much faster if you're using arm weight and if you're rolling back and forth. Okay? So let's try it in just the first 2 bars and then stop. So my tempo is ready and. Okay, try again. Ready and. Blah. Ready and. All right, now the next 2 bars. So it's E and G. So of course falling with the middle finger into E. Ready and. Stop there. The next one is E and F, middle finger and ring finger. Ready and. Okay, you might think you know exactly what it looks like, but let me show you up here just so you get this extra benefit. So I'm going to play from the beginning, starting on F, F, and now middle finger. And now middle and ring. All right, so you can see how I am giving it a fall into each downbeat, which I just guess means before that downbeat, I let go of the note and I have just enough time to get up and back down. All right, I'm going to play the first system and then stop. Okay, play along. Here we go. Ready and. Okay, be really sure you're rocking back and forth. If you don't think you're doing it, then slow down, take a slower pace, like. All right, and one thing I'll say, I think a useful metaphor is if you think of a mannequin, right, like something at the department store that wears clothing and it's made of plastic, their hands don't have fingers that move, yeah? It's in a fixed pose. That's actually what you want to feel like a lot of the time. And it's not fixed rigid, it's just fixed like so relaxed and yet with a form, yeah? So not with tension, just with a form to it. So it's as though your hand were here and it here, and then you were holding this mannequin's hand, yeah? You're holding someone else's hand, and you're like, Tilting it. Yeah, I don't know if that helps at all. That suddenly got really strange. But that's kind of the idea. Yeah. Anyway, don't push the fingers down. Very simple. Idea. Very hard to do. Very hard to do. Okay, enough talking. So now second system, take the same procedure. Just do one bar, repeat it, and say, okay, that felt fine, that didn't feel fine. Go on to the next one, keep repeating things, then do the second system on its own, maybe even several times. Only after you've gone through all that, start looking at the third system. Again, repeat each bar a couple times, see how differently it feels with the different fingers. And then the third system without a pause. Be sure the last bar, you're counting, here's the last bar, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so on beat, off beat. Okay, I'm not going to play straight through it now because I don't want you to play straight through it until you're ready. Okay? So you will, but not right now. You got to have some time to learn the things, and be sure that you're always keeping the C position. So with the right hand, your thumb is always on C. That defines the fingering for the entire thing, just as the left hand, the pinky's always on C. So the left hand, you start finger 2 and 1, but your pinky's always on C. Okay? Great. So enough about this one. It's a super, super valuable study. This helps to clarify and put into practice a lot of things that we've been talking about and demonstrating. But now it's through all the fingers, through all the notes. All right, and then what else are we doing? Just one more thing to play. Turn to page 39 in the book. Melodies divided between two hands. Okay? If you don't have the book, this will be posted on Canvas. Okay, melodies divided between two hands. So whenever one hand is resting, the other one is continuing the melodic line. So before you play anything, look at the key signature and the time signature. All right, this one, no sharps and 4/4. All right, and then get your hand position set. So it says 1 is above, okay? So thumb and middle C. Then look, find the first left hand note. It says 1, and it's on B. So actually the same position as what song that we learned? That French song, Au clair de la lune, the one we did the very first day. Okay, so get those ready. For a while, as soon as you set a hand position, it's going to be true for the entire song. Yeah, after a few weeks, that will no longer be true, but for now, that is true. Okay, take a minute. You could even play hands separately if you want to. It's not as essential with this kind of thing, where the hands are resting. So I think actually nice to play hands together from the beginning, but that's up to you. All right? There's a note at the top of the week 2 handout. There's 2 rules for the week. One of them is maintain good posture and hand position at all times. The other one, strive to always play in tempo, even when sight reading. So that is possible if you spend a little more time thinking about the music before you play it. So imagine either the sound of it or just the rhythm of it. Yeah, you can certainly look at it and say 1, 2, 3, 4, or ta, ta, ta. You can certainly think through that kind of rhythm before you begin. All right, I'm not going to play these with you. I'm going to leave that to you to do. This is on page 39 and 40. Just be sure you follow that procedure. You're setting the hand position for both hands before you start playing it. All right, and last thing I wanted to do for Module C is discuss assignment 1. So you're going to need to print this one. I do need it handwritten, so print it. If it's really not possible, then you can write it on a tablet, but do not use notation software for this. The point of handwriting, whether it's on paper or on a screen, is so that you start to really remember what are all the things that have to be written down in a piece of music, because there's a surprising number of things that have to be there for it to be complete. Okay, the checklist at the front of the page, that shows you how many things need to be written down. All right, so the bullet points, it says like key signature. You write that on the start of every system. Yeah, it's not on every measure. It's the start of every system. And if you aren't clear what that is, how many systems are on this page? The answer is 3. There are 3 systems because these are grouped together, right hand, left hand, and from here till here, that's a system, okay? Then here, that's the second system. Here, that's the third system. So in piano music, it is almost always going to be written on the 2 staves, right? So there are 6 staves on this page, but only 3 systems. I find it surprising that a lot of times no one has ever taught a student that before, so they don't actually know what the word system means. So here you go. That's what it means. All right, so the checklist, that was key signature, start of every system. Time signature only goes on the first measure. If it changes later on, you write it again, but if it doesn't change, don't write it again. Rests as needed whenever a hand is not playing. Look again at those melodies, pages 39 to 40, and you'll see there's always something written. If there's not notes, then there's a rest. Give a tempo indication. That should be just a word or two, not a metronome marking in this case. And then fingering indications for the first note played by each hand, okay? There's no need to write every single number of fingering here. Just the first note played, because as you're learning, that's enough to establish a 5-finger hand position. Just giving one of those is enough. Also in the checklist, bar lines and double bar. Where does the double bar go? At the end. Yeah, you've seen that in probably every piece of music you've ever seen. There's a double bar at the end. Phrasing slurs, that's going to match whatever the original looks like. In these songs, it's going to be a very long slur, so include that. A dynamic marking. You can choose how loud you would like it to be. It could either be the same as the source material or you could choose something else. And then the title of the piece. So don't forget to write the title of the piece. So that's to go here in this blank space above. All right, so what the heck are you writing anyway? Assignment 1 is a transposed melody. Up at the top of this, the instructions are, transpose your assigned melody down to a different key of your choice, but not C major or A minor. Therefore, you will need a key signature. Write it on the stabs below, divided between the hands. Do not write an accompaniment. Okay, this is handwritten, don't enter in software. So divided between the hands, looks like those melodies on pages 39 to 40. Another great example of what it looks like, turn to page 48. 48, Pagoda, consists of a single melody. So I'm talking about the student part of Pagoda. Is this it? Yes, this is it. Okay, so it's a single melody. The left and right hands take turns playing notes of the melody. Whenever one hand is playing, the other is resting. And so you can see, okay, quarter, quarter, quarter. We have to have an equivalent amount of rest in the right hand. Look at the phrasing slurs. This is how we slur between the hands. Yeah, you just start a slur at the first note and draw a nice pretty curve until you get to the last note. So this is a great example if you are confused about what it should look like, what the texture is. Here you go. This is what it will look like. All right, so then what is the piece? Turn to the back of the page. I'm assigning one melody to each student, coming from this compilation of folk songs of the world. So whichever one I assign, that's the piece you'll be working with. So look at the back. We've got some more instructions. Identify the key of the melody as printed in this edition by someone named Branchville Bantock. If you can't tell what key it is, ask another student. You could ask me. You could just email me and say, is this in G minor? Is that right? And I'll say yes or no. You will work with only the vocal line. Don't worry about playing or transposing the accompaniment. So when you look at the source, you'll be like, oh, there's a whole lot of notes here. What am I supposed to do? Only the vocal melody. Okay? Please ignore the piano part. Don't do anything with it. I just want the vocal melody. Okay? So what you're writing will look similar to Pagoda because it's only going to be notes of a melody traded between hands. There's no chords. There's no piano accompaniment. Find the lowest note in the vocal line. Try placing your left pinky on this key. Find the highest note. Try placing your right pinky on this key. Are your hands now in position to play the entire melody? If you need fewer than 10 notes, adjust the fingering to be more comfortable and maybe not to include both pinkies. Maybe like this. But if the melody needs more than 10 notes, then one or both hands will have to change position in the middle of the song. Maybe they start like this with their thumbs close together, but after a while, your right hand needs something higher, so it has to go up here. Try some possibilities until you find a way that works well. Also, simply ask me if you're working on it and you don't know if it's right, or you're really confused about how to choose the fingering. The goal is that with your 10 fingers, you can grab all the notes, and then if there's too many notes, you only have to move once. So your hand position is here, and you only have to move once to grab those other notes. Write in the fingering for the first note played by each hand, and the first note of each position shift when applicable. Now, for the transposing. You will transpose the melody down, such that the left hand will take some notes on the bass staff, and the right hand will take the other notes on the treble staff. So the clefs which are given here are absolute. This has to be just bass clef for left hand. This has to be just treble clef for right hand. So transpose your melody down to make that possible. Okay, choose a key, write its key signature on every system. To transpose from C major, if you're trying to go to A major, that would be down a minor third. Then every C becomes an A, every D becomes a B, every E becomes a C sharp, and so on. Every note gets transposed down to a note which is a minor third lower than the original note. To transpose from E minor down to B minor, which would be down a perfect fourth, every E in the original melody becomes a B in your transposed version. Every F sharp becomes a C sharp, and so on. Please follow this procedure. Write the first note of the melody, transposed, and double check it. Be really, really, really sure that is the right interval down and that that is the correct key you're trying to get. For all the subsequent notes in the next two measures, don't calculate each individual note. Don't do this like every single thing goes down a fourth, but instead try thinking of it this way. Follow the pattern of intervals expressed by the melody. So if the melody goes da, 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 then it's enough to get your first note figured out and then think, okay, it goes down a step, up a fifth. That's a much more musical way to think about transposition. It's not about sort of having these two charts going and everything corresponds to something else. It's about this melody goes down, down, and then up a fifth. That's much more musical. So try thinking about it that way. But then, after you've written two measures this way, stop and double check the notes to be sure that they are the correct interval away from the untransposed version. So does it make sense what I'm saying? Don't just go about it as a mathematical exercise. Try to be thinking about it as a melody, following the ups and downs that way, and you'll find that a much more satisfying experience. Okay, there's an example of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You can look through that if you want more details. I'm just going to skip ahead. Below that, play your transposed melody to make sure that it sounds right. That may seem obvious, but once in a while people have turned in things which sound really strange. So I just have to go back and work with them and figure out, okay, if you're trying to get to this key, then this and this and this note, and this key signature and the other. Yeah, so play it and you will catch any large errors yourself. Okay, add all the items listed on the first page. That would be a checklist, and you're good to go. And then I will say at the end, even though I've said it before, remember, you are only expected to transpose the vocal line. Do not write chords or accompaniment. The result will look similar to Pagoda as one melody line divided between the hands. Okay, there you go. There you have it. Any questions, please do those over email. Please don't try to take up any of our Zoom lesson time with this, and please don't take up any class time either. Yeah, the class time is so precious. I have to reserve that for you playing and me watching you play. So any questions, let's handle it over email. Okay, thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you at class very soon.